Welcome to Movie Decoder, where we unravel the mysteries of movies. Today, we decode Movie Box for you. The movie opens with an eerie, official-looking document on a typewriter screen. The document belongs to the CIA and contains classified information regarding a man named Arlington Stewart who was struck by lightning and suffered severe burns. The memo hints that Stewart is involved in an experiment of unknown origin and importance. The text mentions Project Mars and indicates that Stewart is no longer human in the traditional sense. The document abruptly ends, and the screen fades to black. It is now 1976, and the story shifts to a suburban neighborhood in Richmond, Virginia, where we meet Norma Lewis, Cameron Diaz, and Arthur Lewis, James Marsden. The couple is in bed early in the morning. Norma is a private school teacher, while Arthur works as an engineer at NASA. Their lives seem normal, but financially strained. The peaceful morning is interrupted when the doorbell rings. Arthur gets up and goes to the door, only to find a small brown package on the front porch. A black sedan is seen in the distance, driving away. Confused, Arthur picks up the package and brings it inside. Together, he and Norma open it to find a wooden box with a red button encased in a glass dome. Along with it is a note stating that Mr. Arlington Stewart will arrive at 5 p.m. to explain further. Arthur, intrigued but skeptical, examines the box, trying to determine if it has any electronic or mechanical components. He finds nothing unusual. The couple places the box on their dining table and leaves for the day. Arthur heads to NASA, where he meets his colleagues. He has recently applied to the astronaut program, but receives disappointing news. He has been rejected due to failing the psychological evaluation. This frustrates him, as he believes he was well qualified. Meanwhile, Norma goes to teach her class at a private school, where she discusses Jean-Paul Sartre's existentialist play, No Exit, with her students. One of them mockingly asks about her limp, prompting Norma to explain that she suffered radiation exposure as a child, leading to amputation of 4 toes on her foot. This has left her with a permanent disability. As the day progresses, the couple struggles with their personal disappointments. Norma later finds out that her tuition discount for Walter's private school has been revoked, further straining their finances. That evening, they eat dinner and continue speculating about the box. Arthur is convinced that it is a prank or a social experiment, while Norma wonders if it could be something supernatural. At exactly 5 p.m., the doorbell rings. Arthur and Norma exchange nervous glances before opening the door. Standing before them is Arlington Stewart, Frank Langella, a tall, well-dressed man with a calm demeanor. However, his appearance is unsettling. The right side of his face is severely disfigured, as if it has been burned away. Despite his eerie look, he speaks politely and formally. He introduces himself and asks if he may come in. Arthur and Norma cautiously allow him inside. He sits at their dining table, where the box still rests. Stewart explains that pressing the red button will result in them receiving $1 million in cash. But there is a catch. Somewhere in the world, someone they do not know will die. The person could be anyone: a stranger from another country, an old person, a young child, someone sick, or someone healthy. Stewart does not provide specifics. He gives them 24 hours to decide, stating that if they do not press the button, he will retrieve the box, and the offer will expire. After Stewart leaves, the couple debates the offer intensely. Norma is intrigued, while Arthur remains highly skeptical. He believes it is a psychological test, possibly run by the government or a private corporation. However, Norma, deeply affected by their financial troubles and her physical condition, sees it as an opportunity. She wonders if the person who would die might already be near death, rationalizing the choice. Arthur, however, dismantles the box, trying to figure out how it works. To his frustration, he finds no internal mechanisms, no wires, no sensors, nothing that could trigger an external event. This only deepens the mystery. Later that night, while lying in bed, Norma stares at the box. Her mind races, filled with possibilities and doubts. Arthur reassures her that they don't need the money and that pressing the button would make them complicit in murder. However, he too seems somewhat tempted. The next day, the couple goes about their routine, but they remain preoccupied. While attending a wedding reception, Norma encounters a strange woman with a vacant expression who cryptically tells her, "Look into the light and you'll understand." The woman then walks away, leaving Norma unsettled. Meanwhile, Arthur is confronted by his NASA colleagues who act strangely and warn him to stay away from Stewart. As the 24-hour deadline approaches, the tension becomes unbearable. In a moment of impulse, Norma presses the button. Immediately, an eerie mechanical clicking sound comes from the box. The glass dome lifts for a brief moment, and the button resets. There is silence. Norma looks at Arthur, realizing that they cannot undo their choice. Shortly after, Stewart returns to their house. He calmly hands them a briefcase containing $1 million in cash. Norma hesitantly asks, "Did someone die?" Stewart nods and says, "Yes, someone you do not know." Before leaving, he adds that the box will now be reprogrammed and given to another couple, someone they do not know, who will face the same choice. This realization shocks Arthur and Norma, as they now understand that they were responsible for the death of someone who had been given the box before them. From this moment, their lives begin to unravel. Arthur starts seeing strange people following him, all of whom suffer sudden nosebleeds before collapsing. He follows a man in a black suit to a secret location where he witnesses a group of people seemingly under mind control. Meanwhile, Norma starts experiencing bizarre visions, including a dream where she sees Stewart standing inside a blinding white light, watching her. As their paranoia deepens, Arthur investigates Stewart's past. He finds a government record stating that Stewart was struck by lightning and officially pronounced dead, yet he somehow came back changed. The mystery deepens when Arthur discovers a link between Stewart and NASA's Viking Mars program, suggesting a connection to extraterrestrial intelligence. Meanwhile, Norma and Arthur's son, Walter, mysteriously disappears. When they confront Stewart, he presents them with a final test. Their son has been